Hello, in this video, we're going to be going over how to find domain and range from a table. But first, let's go over what domain and range are. Domain is all possible inputs, aka your x values. Range is all possible outputs, aka your y values. As you can see here, domain and range are written in these curly braces. This is called set notation. Set notation means that there will be no repeats in a set, and you write each unique value once. Now, let's go over how to find the domain and range from this table. Like I mentioned, domain is going to be your x values. So domain is 1, 2, 5, 8, and 10. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 5, 8, and 10 here. Our range, aka our y values, is going to be 3, 4, 6, 2, 7. So here we have 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. A set doesn't have an inherent order, so technically the range could also be written in the order that we see it. 3, 4, 6, 2, and 7. But normally, when we write domain and ranges, we like to write it in increasing order because it's easier to read. Now, let's go over some practice problems. For the first question, we want to find our domain and range. Like I mentioned before, our domain is the x values. Our domain here is going to be -2, 0, 4, and 6. Let's write it in set notation. So we'll have -2, comma, 0, comma, 4, comma, and 6. Now, let's do the range. We have 5, 3, 1, and -2. Like I mentioned before, the order doesn't matter, but it's neater to write it in increasing order. So let's practice that. -2, 1, 3, and 5. So we have our domain and range written down. Now, let's do a bonus question and try to see whether we can tell whether it's a function. Yes, it is a function based on these 4 points, because a function means that every input can only map to one output, and -2 only maps to 5, 0 only maps to 3, and so on. Now, let's do this question right here. We have x and y, and we have a bunch of points like before. Our domain is going to be the x value, so our domain is this side. Our domain is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And our range is our y values, so it's 7, 7, 9, 10, and 12. Now, because we're writing it in set notation, we only have to write the 7 once. So our range is going to be 7, 9, 10, and 12. Now, is this a function? Let's take a look at our points. Yes, this is also a function. A function means one input maps to one output, and in case of this, that is true. The fact that the y is repeated is okay because these inputs are still different. Now, let's continue with solving more questions. So, our domain is our x value, so we're going to look at the x side here for our domain. And we want to practice writing it in increasing order, so we're going to write -3 first. 2 is next, but we only need it once because we're using set notation. And then we have 6. Now, let's look at the range. Also in increasing order, we're going to go with -1 first. Then we're going to do 4. Then we're going to do 5. And then we're going to do 9. Is this a function? No, not a function, because here 2 maps to both 4 and 9, which makes it not a function. We have repeated x inputs. Repeated y is okay, but repeated x is not. Now, for the question on the left, we have once again looking for the domain and range. In this case, we want to do an increasing order, which this is already increasing order, -1/2, 0, 1/2, and 1. As you can see here, fractions and decimals are allowed to be part of the domain and range. Our domain is -1/2, 0, half, and 1, and our range is going to be 4, 0, 4, 8. Let's do increasing as well, so we'll do 0 first. Like we said, we don't need to write this twice, we write it once. 4, and then we have 8. Is this a function? Yes, it is a function. We have no repeated x values. All the inputs match directly to one output, so it is a function. Now we've reached the final challenge question. It's now your turn. Pause the video and try to solve this one. Now let's get started. Once again, we're looking to find the domain, which is going to be the x values. Let's start in increasing order. First, we have -1, and then we have 0. We have 3 and 3, but because we're doing set notation, we only need to write it once. And we have 6. Now let's look for the range. The range is going to be the y values. So let's start from the smallest one, which is -2. And then we have 2 4s, but we only need to write 1. And we have 7. Lastly, is this a function? Comment the answer below. And that's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching.